Hey all, it's Dan for Numerical Lion. There's a picture of me. I reveal the false reality in which we live in using gematria. Saw a story about Brett Favre um, from Fox News. Brett Favre sports new orange hair. We're quarantined. Call me crazy. That's the quote. Read a little bit of this story. Former Green Bay Packers quarterback Brett Favre isn't having an identity crisis. He's just keeping busy with his daughter while under quarantine. During an interview with CBS Sports Friday, the Hall of Famer and three-time league MVP was sporting a new hairstyle. Consider this quarantine week 4, Favre says that he removed his hat to reveal orange hair. It was big news. He's got orange hair now. Why is this big news? It's all about gematria. It's all about the numbers. Go into the decode here. So here's the post from CBS. Notice 157 likes, a minute 51. Show you why all that's interesting. And it all goes to the Packers. Packers equals 37. And he's from Mississippi, 157 likes, right? 157, the 37th prime number, right? And then he went to Hancock North Central High School, 307. That's interesting. 307, the 63rd prime. 307 is also 37. 307, the 63rd prime. Kind of like COVID-19, 63. Also, Brett Favre equals 63. Brett Favre equals 63. Right? And he went to this high school, 307, the 63rd prime. These people are born and bred to be, there's no doubt about it. And this 151, that's the pandemic number. Pandemic equals 151. Brett equals 65, just like pandemic. Pandemic 151. Pandemic and Brett. Coronavirus numbers 65 and 70. And I'll get to these things as we move on here. So everything's coded. So this interview came out on the 17th. Story is released on the 18th. Let's look at Brett Favre here. Brett Lorenzo Favre. He's 50 years old, born October 10th, 1969, in Gulfport, Mississippi. His career ended in 2010. He's 6'2", from the University of Southern Mississippi. Look, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2016. I'll show you why that's interesting. So, this story comes out on the 191st day of his age. He was born October 10th. Why is that interesting? 191, a prime number, the 43rd prime. And talk about a pandemic. Pandemic 43. Pandemic also 151, like I mentioned before. So it happened on 4/17 or 17/4. He's got orange hair. On 17/4, 174. On April 17th, leaves 258 days left in the year. I did a couple videos about 258 and 174. It's the number of the beast, 174 and 258. April 17th this year leaves 258 days left in the year because it's a leap year. A lot of Number of the Beast programming. The big G he wears on his helmet for Green Bay, the team that he's most famous for being with, won Super Bowl 31 with. G equals 33. He was the 33rd pick in the second round. Number of the Beast also equals 66. Let's see, I'll show you that. Number of the Beast also equals 66 and 87 too. I'll show you why that's interesting. 66. Zoom in a little bit more. So Number of the Beast 66. I'll show you why these numbers are interesting too. 87. Got a lot to show you. So also, his care color is now orange 33, the 33rd pick of the draft. There's a big G, 33, that number of masonry. He's a Hall of Famer, equals 56. 56 like coronavirus. Brett, 65 and 70 like coronavirus. In fact, in Super Bowl 31, the final score was 35-21. The only Super Bowl victory for the Packers. I mean, not for the Packers, for Favre. That equals 56. Very interesting. Notice he was born with 27 numerology. The Super Bowl was played on a day with 27 numerology as well. 1 plus 26 is 27. Notice the Packers have 27 first half points, 10 and 17, 27. He retired from the Packers in 2007. I have that somewhere. Retired from the Packers in 2007, or 27. So yeah, coronavirus 56, 65, and 70, a number we've been coding for a long time now. Also, All-Seeing Eye, Masonic Ritual, 155 and 56. That's what this is. It's a Masonic ritual, no doubt. So he was born with 89 numerology, the number of the virus. Take out Corona here. Virus 89. Packers scored 35 points. Right, Virus also 37. I think he retired from the Packers at age 37. Somewhere around that age. It was the Super Bowl. Super Bowl on a day with 35 numerology. They scored 35 points in the Super Bowl. And it was 108 days from his birthday to the Super Bowl. He was born in 69. He was 27 at the time of the Super Bowl. Right, that number. Very interesting. Coincidences here. 27, that number of ritual. So, like I said, 100, born with 108 numerology. The story comes out on the 108th day of the year. 108 is 18. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. Remember, he made the Hall of Fame in 2016. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. Green Bay Packers equals 150. Just like quarantine, 150. Also quarantine 48. Interesting thing, if you write out Illuminati and quarantine, there's an overlap. Illuminati, quarantine. Spell it right. So quarantine and Illuminati share an overlap here. Make this a little bigger. 120, 48, and 150. So the 48's interesting because his phrase or his quote, "We're quarantined, call me crazy," equals 408 or 48. Just like quarantine, just like propaganda, just like hoax, just like Freemason. It's from Gulfport, MS, Mississippi. Also another 48, 147, and 123. And we're quarantined. Call me crazy. 123 and 147. Look at that. So look at pandemic and Gulfport. Pandemic 38, Gulfport 38, Gulfport 43, pandemic 43. A little information on him. He's 6'2", weighs 222 pounds. 33rd pick of the draft. Started with the Falcons. Right, drafted in 1991. He would have been 22 at that time. 22. Right, and then 16 years later, he's 38. All right, so he's 38 with the Packers. Thought maybe he was 37. Number 4. So it's 222 pounds. That's interesting because Wuhan coronavirus and Brett Lorenzo Favre both equal 222, that order out of chaos number. Right? Order out of chaos. That's what this is. A lot of chaos, a lot of people. Ever seen times like this? Green Bay Packers equals 78. Green Bay Packers equals 78 with the S exception. Also, right? Also 69. He was born in 69. Also some similarities between Super Bowl champion Wuhan coronavirus and Brett Lorenzo Favre. Super Bowl champion 93, Wuhan coronavirus 93, Brett Lorenzo Favre 93. And all 87, Super Bowl champion 87, Wuhan coronavirus 87, Brett Lorenzo Favre. That's why he's in the news right now. So I mentioned before, equals 63. And if you look at his career, his stats, we'll get to that. He's got 52% passing percentage in college, 52 touchdowns and 34 interceptions. 52 and 34. Brett, 34 interceptions. And where's Favre? 52 touchdowns, 52% passing. That was in college. And then so on July 19th, he agreed to this contract. July 19th, 1991. July 19th. Let's look at that. He signed with the Packers. Or he was signed with 200th day with 165 left. Day with 37 numerology. Interesting. So that's when he signed with the Atlanta Falcons. He signed with the Packers on February 11th, 1992. February 11th, the 42nd day of the year. February 11th, 1992. Some real-time decoding here. Day. $124 numerology. Was the Super Bowl with 124 numerology? Yeah, the Super Bowl was a day with 124 numerology, and he signed with the Packers on a day with 124 numerology. Interesting. Very interesting. Also, 34, like Brett equals 34. So, even get to the point where I wanted to get here. So, there was something else I wanted to mention about Mr. Favre. With the Jets, finished up with the Vikings. Oh, maybe his stats. Let's look at his stats. Let's look at his stats. So he had 6,300 completions. Brett Favre equals 63. Isn't that interesting? So I think that's all I was going to mention on that. Brett Favre 63, played for the Golden Eagles 52. And Favre equals 52. Just another story by the numbers. Links up to the coronavirus, to the Wuhan coronavirus. Links to his Super Bowl championship. Hall of Famer. 56, scored 56 points in the Super Bowl that he won, his only Super Bowl. So there you go. Another example of your coded stories in the media. Numbers and letters. Letters are numbers. Thanks for supporting. Have a good one.